Let's experiment a little bit. Oh, okay. We could experiment like that if you want, Link. That's not what I meant, though. Got to see a baby rhino the last week. It changed my life. I love rhinos so much. They're so amazing and incredible creatures. And I got to see a baby. And I got to hear it squeak. I got to hear it do its little baby rhino squeak. It was adorable. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen. I say that with legitimately not very much exaggeration. It was an incredible experience. The zoo I live closest to had a baby, but every time I came to visit, it was always indoors, where the guests couldn't see it. And now it's all grown up. Like it's still an adolescent rhino, but it looks pretty much like an adult. Which is still fun. Like, I love rhinos even when they're adults. It's still fun to go see the rhinos at that zoo. But the experience of seeing a baby rhino and being like, that is and looks like a baby rhino, I've never gotten at my local zoo. So when I went to go visit someone else at a different zoo that did have a baby rhino, it was incredibly exciting. And my friends basically had to drag me away because I could have spent an hour just hanging out watching that thing. It was adorable. It was with its mama, and the mama went to go get a drink. There's something about, like, I don't know. I love zoos. I really, truly love zoos. But I will admit that to an average person, it can sometimes not be a fun experience if the animals are just kind of sitting there the whole time or standing in place the whole time. And I think it's legitimately, like, way more exciting when you get to see the animals do stuff, even if it's really normal menial stuff. If you watch a rhino for 5 minutes and it stands there and it just kind of walks around slightly, I'd love that because I love rhinos. But the average person will be like, cool, it's a rhino. But it's so different if you watch a rhino for 5 minutes and about 2 minutes in, it walks over to the little pond it has and takes a drink from it and then gets back out of the water. I don't, like, that's... You're watching the animal be an animal, and that's just a wonderful thing. And you get to see how different creatures just operate, and it's great. And most zoos, to anyone who doesn't know a lot about zoos, and they're always like, it's basically Animal Prison. There are a couple zoos out there that are like that, and they suck. But most zoos, particularly in the States, if any zoo is AZA accredited, that's a good sign that they put the care of the animals first and the entertainment of the guests second, which is the way they should do it. And they take care to make sure the animals have access to things that are going to be enriching for them. That's why they call it enrichment. The greatest scam ever pulled was the zoological community convincing the government to give them grants for quote-unquote enrichment, which usually just means toys for the animals. But I say that mostly ironically because enrichment actually is very mentally healthy for animals and keeps them stimulated. And yeah, and most AZA accredited institutions, to my knowledge, participate in voluntary checkups for a lot of their bigger animals. And I don't know exactly how it works, because there are points where they definitely, like, if the animal were to truly not want to cooperate, but there was truly something wrong with their health, I'm sure that there's more drastic measures that are taken. But the vast majority of instances, it is just, hey animal, if you come over here and let us check you out a little bit, we'll give you a treat. But we are not forcing you into this specific part of the enclosure. We're not locking you in a cage. The animal can leave whenever it wants. And because they get treats, the animals are usually like, yeah, cool, chill. Yeah, I remember, I've always been an animal lover, and I definitely went through a phase for a while where I was like, maybe zoos are actually immoral because we're not letting the animals be. And then the more I looked into zoos, the more I realized, like, oh, no, the zoos usually do a very good job making sure the animal is well taken care of and is happy, and is also, unless absolutely required, functioning as close to how it could in the wild as possible given the constraints of being in an institution. Which, that's how zoos work. That is, if you're at a zoo, that is one of the bullet points that will have to happen. But zoos do put a lot of work into making sure the animals are happy, which is really nice. What else was I going to say about how cool zoos are? Oftentimes, such as with the rhino, it's actually very good to have certain animals that are endangered in environments where they can be very closely looked after and monitored and under surveillance at all times, because the wild population can't just be left to its own devices because humans suck. So having breeding programs and health experts looking out for endangered species is very nice. Zoos are actually very, very helpful for certain animal populations. So, yeah, if you're someone who really cares about animals and you have had the thought of, hey, zoos are kind of messed up, they're really not. A lot of times they're very, very useful and very, very nice, and they're almost always very kind to their animals. That being said, if there's a new, like, if you are visiting a new zoo for the first time and you're like, that seems, you look at the website and you're like, that seems weird, that seems sketchy, do your research. There are definitely places out there that do not take care of their animals well, and it's always a sad thing. And I would say, if you do your research and find out that there's something sketchy happening, do not financially support that institution. Financially support other institutions that do take good care of their animals. Vote with your wallet, as the people say. Link could be holding hands with Prince Sidon and visiting a zoo right now. Damn it. Ooh, big boy. Let me be clear, I still have a lot of video games I want to get to, both on this channel specifically and just in my life. But you know you're starting to get old when you visit a store, like a retail video game store, that specializes in like used games and you know, resale games. And you're looking around, and you're like, there's some cool things in here, they're a little pricier than I would want, but you know, I'm thinking about it. And then you eventually make your decision as to what you're going to buy from this store with an incredibly wide selection of games. And you go up to the counter and you're like, everything's behind a case, so you gotta get an employee to help you out with it. And you're like, yeah, I think I want to make a purchase. And the guy's like, all right, cool. Let me grab my my key to the cases, and I can help get that for you. And you bring him to what you were looking at, the precious item that you want to get, and you go, yeah, you guys have pretty cheap AA batteries here, so I'm grabbing a pack of batteries. And he's like, cool, thank you so much for your purchase. And then you walk out of the store. I'm curious if because you know how everyone all of a sudden, like, realized that everyone's mothers and grandmothers always stored their sewing gear in those biscuit tins? Like, the internet weirdly just all of a sudden discovered, like, oh, we all experienced that. That happened to all of us. I'm curious if I can find another one here. Was there a battery drawer that your parents had growing up where the batteries were always kept, but it was, like, not exactly where you would expect it? Because my house's battery drawer was in my dad's office. Not with any of the rest of, like, where the tape was, or the scissors, or the pens or pencils, or the rulers. All that stuff was in the junk drawer in the kitchen. And you'd think the batteries could belong in the kitchen junk drawer, but no. In my house, the batteries were always in my dad's office, in a specific drawer in my dad's office. Does that track for people? Is that a core memory that we've all secretly experienced? Or was my family just weird? I know my family was weird, but is that a specific instance in which my family was being weird? Am I recording? Yes. Couldn't record the finale of Bayonetta or my first playthrough of Gree. Had to redo those. But this 2 hours in which I accomplished nothing? Hell yeah, no issues. I really wish there was friendly fire. I really wish that big boy would hurt his fellow man. Let me get the upswing. Thank you. Saw that guy coming from a mile away, but I didn't know if I'd be able to dodge it. God. are you sniping me? That's fine. Wow, I looked up and all of a sudden I was doing well. That was weird. Damn it! Yeah, I saw him winding up. I don't think there was any way out of that once that happened. I let him get too close. That's as simple as it was. Alas and alack. Try. You guys are coming after me sooner and sooner. I don't like it. Oh, okay. There we go. That was the spooky one I wanted to do earlier. Is that guy winding up? Is Big Boy winding up? I run. Woof! Felt that in my bones. What the fuck? Was that an arrow? That felt like an arrow to me. God. Fuck it. It looks oddly peaceful, falling sideways. That's the one I wanted. That is the moment I wanted. I'm so used to jumping and then holding the R button, which is the dive bomb button, that I forgot it's not the glide button that time around. Finally, I've been punished for my hubris. I've been waiting for it, and a death from heights that felt earned. That felt earned to me. I am satisfied with that. Hell yes. And now that I've been punished for my hubris, let's see if the gods have mercy on me in terms of whether or not I can fight this entire army. Oh, am I gonna get right in the shockwave of that guy? Oh no, I touched him and he got hurt. Getting close to some archers here, I bet. I don't even know where the archers were. That's number 2. I don't know where number 1 went. Wild. I was hoping I could side jump it. I think it is legitimately kind of funny that Breath of the Wild, the most intense criticism aimed at Breath of the Wild was, I don't like the weapon durability mechanic. And Nintendo really went, how should we improve for Tears of the Kingdom? Let's have every single weapon in the game have even lower durability than it did in the first one. It's going to be a plot point that the weapons are decaying and breaking way sooner than they should. People will enjoy that. I unironically think it's very funny that that's a thing. Nice try. Woof! Forget how wide of a swing he has. Hell yeah. Well, now I'm curious. Will the cutscene start if I paraglide on top of that? No. So where do you draw the line? Okay. Up there, it would seem. I'm not gonna lie, my heart leapt at the concept of sequence break. Is it possible? Could it be? I doubt it, but it was worth a try. God damn it. Damn it. What if we... Hang on. What if we experiment a little bit? Just for fun. It's not like this is going to be the one. Okay, no, it did nothing. It could have been fun. Could have been fun if we had just exploded the big egg. Ooh. Bad combo. Remember in Skyward Sword when you have to go down the giant ramp and you're facing an army of bokoblins and you felt really cool? I bet that's how you feel in this game if you play it like a normal human. I am not a normal human. Nice. Nice. Oh, that guy is shooting an arrow at me. I was hoping he would be far enough away that he wouldn't. Beep. I think there's still one I'm missing, right? Yeah. I don't know what happens if I'm not holding a weapon, but I still could have sworn I dodged. I got the timing right on that dodge. That sucks. Did it side dodge me? I was really trying to dodge backwards. Slash, slash, 2, slash, 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 slash. 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 Ow. I don't even know who I'm attacking here. Ah! Look at that! Alright, that's something. Excuse me. Hey, don't throw rocks at me, that's not nice. Well, all those archers are standing right in a row, aren't they? I can feel a charge in the rumbling of my controller. Big boy just did a charge. But I dodged it. I'd just rather not be hit with an arrow is the main thing here. Ooh, my controller's getting sweaty. God! Fuck it! I was so focused on getting through, triggering an attack of opportunity from Big Boy. And I realized the beeline was the best way to do that. But I ran straight head first into the fucking arrow. Fuck it. At the very least, it seems like investing in the conventional battle strategy is actually paying off. I'm legitimately getting better at it. And it is more fun than the gimmicky strategies I've been doing before. And I think it's probably more entertaining to watch as well. Not when I do it like that, though. That's less entertaining and fun. I don't know if as a gamer myself, if I've ever had a more terrifying experience from someone, I think it was probably the PS5 controller, but like at one point they listed out like how in the design, how many times do we think each button can be pressed? And it's like hundreds of thousands of times because you're supposed to be using the controller a lot. And that's supposed to be like a comforting thing, that the controller can take a lot of presses. But I don't know, when it comes to thinking about my controller, I've never thought about it as like individual buttons having a shelf life, like a certain amount of uses. So once I heard that, and I was like, oh yeah, there's a spring under there, and the spring will wear down over time. I've started getting a lot more self-conscious about every time I mash a button, particularly in instances like this where mashing doesn't actually help and I'm just trying to hit continue as soon as possible, but I'm waiting for the continue button to pop up. I'm terrified that I'm using up some of my precious button presses that will eventually run out. And then what am I supposed to do? Buy another controller? Have you seen how much Joy-Cons cost? It's ridiculous. Also, by the time it actually wears out, we will have moved on from the Switch, and the scarcity of controllers will probably make it even more expensive. Much like with my GameCube controllers. Or wait, no, it's my Xbox controller. My favorite Xbox controller. I've had to, like, take apart and try to, like, get all the dust and gunk out myself rather than buy another one, because buying another one of that specific type was very expensive. Not as expensive as my life, which is a price that Link just had to pay. Just wasted a button press there, because the button hadn't loaded in yet. See how easy it is? See how simple this is? Your life falling apart before your eyes? It could happen to you. It will happen to you. One day. Woo! Ow.